Hello, collective, and welcome to my channel, which is called Earth Angel Ashara. Um, Again, this is a very short video that is just spinning off the first video that I did today, and that video was called Intimacy on the 5D. I've also done another video called How to Train Your Dragon, and this video is about a stepping stone soulmate. Okay, so the reason why I've decided to talk about stepping stone soulmates is because it comes off the back of the energy that I was describing earlier on. Okay, so when I says to you that intimacy gets crazy when it's done on a 5D, it gets crazy because you're already energetically drawn to someone. So I made reference before that just like how your spirit don't take to somebody when you meet them for the first time, or you walk into a party or a room and your spirit's like, something ain't right, and you can just feel something's not right, and the next thing you know, a fight's gone on or something's happened, but intuitively you knew something was not right. Okay, so exactly the same how your energy works, because we're all energy beings, it's all energy. Exactly the way that works when something is bad or you're in danger or there is a potential threat is exactly how it works when we meet kindled spirits. So, what is a kindled spirit? A kindled spirit is a spirit where you and them have lived before in a lifetime. It's a familiar spirit. Okay, this is someone that you knew from before. Um, and you get that with friends. Sometimes you meet people and it's like, yo, I feel like I've known you forever. Or you're with a man and you're just like, oh my God, we just connect so quickly. That's the energy. When you have met, when your spirit is familiar with another spirit, it will feel like that, even though you've just met this person. Okay. And that could be a good or a bad thing. You could have a familiar energy to someone that was your slave owner, so you're thinking, oh, it's familiar, but actually this was not a good situation. But the way the universe has come back around, you and them have ended up in the same place because your energy is connected. But this might not be a good person for you, or maybe it is a good person for you. Maybe the tables have turned, and now this slave master has come back as your bitch. You know what I'm saying? So you get to assert and see what you would do in that situation. It's crazy. Okay, but generally you meet people and you feel an energy towards them. You feel something energetic, negatively or positive. When you meet someone and you feel a positive physical connection, then the 5D intimacy of that becomes unreal. Okay, so I want to kind of go into a little bit more on the emotions of it, okay, especially when it's with a stepping stone soulmate. So let me explain stepping stone soulmate. Okay, so a stepping stone soulmate is a person that comes into your life. There is a familiarity, there's some connection, yours and their soul, there's a bond already. So again, I just talked about that. However, this is not your actual soulmate that you are going to end up with. This is someone that just has some of the characteristics and the traits of your soulmate. Okay, because the universe is going to give you things like little tests. Everything is a test. To me, the whole purpose of life is test. They call it lessons. Did you learn the lesson? Did you learn the lesson? That's the test. If you didn't learn the lesson, you didn't pass the test. You got to go and do that shit all over again. But if you learnt the lesson, then you don't have to do that test again, or so you think. Okay, and this is the bullshit. Okay, this is the bullshit that I believe is the shit. Okay, because I've been looking at these fucking patterns for a while. Okay, so here we go on. So you learnt that lesson and you got rid of this fucker. This fucker that presented similarities, whatever, reflecting your trauma. It doesn't really matter. But you got over it and you're like, you know what, universe? Yeah, man, I learned that lesson. Never going there again. I got the t-shirt. So the universe is like, really? You think so? So then now they're like, me, I go see it. So they're going to send you someone that is not as bad as the first person. Okay? but they've got some little similarities that trigger you. But there's a whole lot of similarities that you connect with. Okay. So your brain starts to ignore some of the red flags. Even though you see one or two there, it's not as bad as what it was before. And that's how sophisticated the universe is, you know. They're gonna think about who they're sending you to make sure, to make sure that person is like the setup is slick enough that you're not going to see it for what it is straight away. It's going to take you some time to figure that out, and more time before you, by the time you figured it out, you're already fucking in it. Does that make sense? Because to be honest, that's the thing that's required in any lesson. You never learn the full potential of a lesson while you're standing on the sidelines. You never learn the full potential of a lesson if you've got one foot in and one foot out. It just doesn't work like that. You're either in or you're out. You can't be both. Okay. So if you're in a relationship and you're like, is this the one? I don't know if he's the one. And you've got half the foot in there and you're thinking he's the one, but you don't know. You're going to continually attract ups and downs in that relationship because there's just not a flow. You've got to trust, you've got to believe. And it's scary because you've met a man and he's different from your last man, but still you're worried that he's going to do the same to you as your last man. So obviously you go in there, and I know I keep referring to the men from a woman's perspective, but men, just reverse it, okay? Just flip the role. I'm a woman at the end of the day, aren't I? So I'm gonna talk as I see it and relate to it. So if you see these familiarities in this soulmate, so your thing, the quicker you can say, you know what, fuck it. The universe has brought the situation. I'm all hands in, innit? So the quicker you can be all hands in, the quicker you're gonna learn that lesson and you're gonna come out of it and you're gonna grow from it and you're gonna move on, innit? Correct. Whereas a lot of us don't want to do that. We want to kind of be testing out the more waters. So we end up in a situation that is potentially a stepping stone, meaning this was never the man you were supposed to be with. You were supposed to be with him, have an experience to learn about what you don't like, so that you can learn to see what you do like in someone else. Does that make sense? This is what I believe the lessons are about. We're supposed to go through experiences to show us what we don't want, recognizing our own worth in these experiences. Instead of looking at it like I've just been with a man and I've had 2 kids with him and now I'm by myself and blah, blah, blah. No, actually, I've just been with a man and that relationship has taught me how to be independent. That relationship has taught me how to be an independent mom. It's taught me how to look after my children. And maybe that was the purpose that you'd agreed to before coming down here on earth. Maybe that was the earthly experience. And that's why we can't judge an experience. We just have to accept it for what it is, a lesson. But it's about how quickly we learn from it. Okay, so what that means is if your experience has been that you've been with a man and he's done nothing, and then you end up with a man and he's doing nothing, you don't sit in that relationship trying to work it out with one foot in and one foot out. You get out of it. You identify very quickly that this is a pattern and I don't want no part of it. And I don't care if the sex is good. And I don't care if he's got money. I recognize this red flag. And I've just come out of that lesson. So I make a conscious choice. I don't want to go in that. Sometimes it reflects something similar and it's not. So for example, it could be that, I was in a marriage and I had 2 stepchildren. My husband also came into a marriage and took on 2 stepchildren because we both had 2 children from a previous relationship. So because of that experience of raising these 2 beautiful stepchildren and then getting to a point in mine and my husband's relationship where we are now not together, and that relationship breaking up with my stepchildren, it could have easily put me in a frame of mind to say, you know what, I don't want to date no man with no kids because I don't want to do that again. I have raised these 2 stepchildren from the age of 2 and 7 months to nearly 18 and 16. It's a lot of energy, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of investment, isn't it? I could be traumatized right now. And partly there has been some trauma, let's keep it real. To say that, I never want to be in a situation like that. You get what I'm saying? When it's your own kids, you invest in them. I've even had people say to me, Asha, I used to watch you, You know what I'm saying? And you used to treat them stepkids like they was your kids, and they're not even your kids. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course they were my kids. What the fuck? If you're in my house, you're my pitney. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't care. My stepkids had their own room. I made sure it was patterned for them. Even when my husband was like, nah, nah, nah. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they got, they live at their mum's. And I was like, nah, they live here with us. They're part of this family. And I want them to feel like they are a part of this family as much as possible. So I know that I advocated for those kids to make sure that they felt as welcome as possible in the home. Not even welcome, to be fair, just a part of it. So when I'm saying to my kids, yo, get up, it's time to clean up, them kids are getting up and cleaning up too. Because we're in this together. There's no favoritism. There's no stepkids sit down on the settee while everybody else is working hard. No, if everybody's namming and shitting and going on holiday and having a good time and enjoying the fruits of the abundantness, then everybody gets down and dirty when the road gets rough. You know what I'm saying? And everybody want one wash, one sweep, one wipe off the sides. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their roles and responsibilities. And like I said, there's no difference. When I'm putting homework on the table, everybody's getting involved. Sorry, everybody get down on the table and do what you're doing. When we're printing t-shirts and we're weeding and we're packing up, everybody in the family is getting on it. You know what I'm saying? One thing about my husband, he knows how to run a children's sweat house. He knows how to run a shop like they're like Indian, man. You look at Asian people and they've got their shop in it, and all the kids are working, regardless if they want to or not. You better work and make your money and earn some money around here, because my husband used to be like, yo, you want your dinner? You better work. You know what I'm saying? So, the kids grew up like that. They grew up with this work ethic, traumatized perhaps. Seriously, I know I've been traumatized by some of it. But nonetheless, a really positive work ethic. So again, you can be in these relationships. You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You've got to commit to it. And by committing to it, you're going to learn that lesson quicker. And that's what it's about. So a stepping stone karmic is someone who the universe brings into your life, presents to you presents to you a trigger. So again, you've now met a man and he's got 2 kids. That's the trigger. You've just come out of a relationship where there were stepkids and it was traumatizing. Why would you want to go in a relationship with a man that's got kids? But actually, the children that are in this relationship are different spiritual beings. There's just a different setup. Okay. There is no baby mama having an influence. There is no kids going back and forward. These kids live in his house. So they learn his morals, his values, his understanding. So you coming into this house and having the same morals and values as this man, there's no issues when it comes to raising these children, because you're both like-minded and the kids are not going anywhere else to be influenced or whatever else. They're all in the same house. So originally, you've perceived this to be trauma. You've perceived this to say, fuck this shit. This is the same shit that I've just gone through. When actually, it's not. But the universe is going to give you tests like that to see if you're really ready. Because if you're saying that you're healing, you should be able to go with a man that's got 2 kids and know that the experience is going to be beautiful and it's going to be in abundance, period. If you have not healed from whatever the experience is, this experience is going to trigger you. Okay. So this is what happens. The universe gives us these stepping stone soulmates to practice on. Okay. It's practice. It's practice until we meet our absolute true soulmate, divine masculine. Okay. And when you meet that guy, okay, it's going to be a love at first sight. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. There's no red flag. There's no niggles. There's no 1 foot in. There's no 1 foot out. There's no this is good and this isn't good. It's just all good. Okay? That's when you know you've got your soulmate, when there's no argument, there's no passa. Everything is in alignment. And when I say everything is in alignment, I don't even mean it in a sense where everything has to be the same. Like he likes Dorvito Chris, so you like Dorvito Chris. No. He can like Dorvitos and you could fucking hate the smell of Dorvitos, but you like the natural ones or whatever. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying it has to be like for like, because it's not a twin thing. It's a soulmate thing, isn't it? It just means that your souls connect. You and him agreed, or you and them, you and that energy being agreed or signed a contract in the heavens, if you believe in the heavens or whatever. But you agreed that before coming down here on earth, okay, you two agreed that you would find each other and you would be together, okay? Or maybe you and him was already together, married in the spiritual world, and you've descended down here at the same time. You've been birthed to different people, possibly even in different parts of the world, but energetically you're drawn to each other. And I believe that. I remember, I know, I guess I guess it could be deemed as being a romantic, perhaps, and maybe I am. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I am. I'm a fucking romantic. I love it all. I love the fairy tale. That's Rosie. That is. That's my divine feminine. My divine feminine loves the fairy tale. Sasha's just like, what the fuck ever, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's do what we gotta do about. But my divine feminine, she loves all of that. She loves the fucking the whole Cinderella and white horse and, you know, climb up the hair to get the princess. She loves all of that. Um, but that's kind of like that is the energy when you find your soulmate. It is that. This is a divine masculine that was actually built for you. He is equally yoked with you. There are no issues. There are no issues. And guess what? Neither of you are displaying each other's traumas because each of you have already gone through the healing of that. So when shit happens, you're able to identify it and say, that triggers that is just tried to trigger where, but it's all right. I've got the t-shirt on that. I'm good. Or you talk it out and say, do you know what? When you wear purple, it makes me think this. So it's either, you know what, carry on wearing purple. You get what I'm trying to say? I just know that when you wear purple, it means this, not that. Does that make sense? So the person isn't trying to stop you from being you, and you're not trying to stop them from being them. You're just in complete harmony. You're just in complete abundance and understanding, and everything else that's sweet and delicious. And that's where I'm ready to ascend to. So anyway, I've like I said, I do have someone around me at the moment, and there's lots of things kind of happening between us, and some things are triggering me, some things are not, some things are red flagging it, and some things are. And that's another thing about red flags. You've got to make sure that it's not your red flag, because we have red flags. If something's triggering us, we're gonna put a red flag on it. We're gonna say, yeah, that's a red flag. Fuck that right now. I ain't going there. Do you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do your divine masculine side will come out and they will try and protect you. The ego will try and protect you. That's its job. That's the job of the ego, to not let you do the things that might potentially put you at risk. So don't leave work and go and start your own business. Remember that time when you couldn't pay the bill? That's the ego. That's that motherfucker in your head trying to stop you out of every trap, because the ego just wants to keep you safe. My divine feminine was very egotistical.